Hey everybody, it's Dina Rico with the Creativity Cave, and I have this awesome card to share with you today featuring a couple of fun favorites and a really cool blending technique with our blending brushes. So I'm going to show you how I created this. I'll start out with a piece of our True Love Designer Series paper. This is our gorgeous black and white paper from the January to June Occasions catalog, and I just love it. And I'm going to create this ombre effect with some blending brushes. Now I have about 12 blending brushes, and I use them. I kind of have one for each sort of group of colors, but this is kind of three distinct colors that I'm using. I've got Pool Party, Pacific Point, and Night of Navy. You can use one, you could do this with just one brush if you wanted, by the way. But I use blending brushes enough that I decided to keep one separate for each color. I do use this Pool Party one for Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, and Bermuda Bay. So I've just picked up some ink with my brush, and I'm going to just swirl the ink right over the DSP. And I think sometimes people forget you can color your DSP, which is a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm going to get some rich color on here. I just love this. And I want to make sure I've got plenty of Pool Party on here so that I do leave some behind when I start adding the next color. So I'll be able to see all three colors on here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Next up, I'm going to do Pacific Point. So we'll close this one up. I'll use my Pacific Point brush. And I'm going to do kind of a center stripe across here. Notice I got rid of that first little bit of ink just because sometimes it can be really dark. Okay. And I kind of do this every time. I'm trying to make sure I keep some of the Pool Party, but I get going and blending. Okay, so there's our second color, and our third color will be Night of Navy. I thought this was kind of a fun combination and a little bit different. I don't necessarily put these three colors together, but they do really blend nicely together. Okay, so I'm going to flip this around, and we're just going to do Night of Navy at the bottom. And you can do as little or as much color as you would like. I like to kind of get everything blended nicely so that there's no like hot spots or darker spots. And I think that looks pretty good. Now you can get a bit of ink on your fingers. So sometimes if you need, it's good to take like a scrap of cardstock and use that to hold your fingers down when you're doing the blending, so that you just don't get a bunch of ink on yourself. Okay, so there we go. We're good to go with that. Actually, I'm going to leave this open because we're going to need this. Okay, next, I want to adhere this to a layer of Whisper White, or pardon me, Basic White. I still can't get that in my head. I've had Whisper White for 22 years. It's going to take me a little time to remember the difference. Okay, so I'm just going to take some Seal and adhere that to my layer of Basic White. Okay, and I need to trim this down a little bit. I changed the dimensions of my cardstock just a touch. So I've got a layer of 3 3/4 by 5 white, and then I'm going to put this on a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Oh, and I totally forgot. I think I can still get this done. I had a little leftover piece from trimming my cardstock, so I thought I would use that for the inside of my card. So I'm going to start with some Pool Party. I'm just trying to get the ink that's still on my brush. Then I'll do a little Pacific Point, and then last I'll finish it up with my Night of Navy, and that looks pretty good. So we're just going to add this to the inside of our card. in a minute. Okay, so I've got those layers, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to a layer of black because we've got the black and white paper, which I love. Now I'm using the Best Year stamp set. This comes in a bundle with the plaid builder dies, and these are getting retired. I'm pretty sure they're discounted right now, so you can get a great deal on these if you order the pieces individually, so the dies separate from the stamp set. The stamp set will continue to be available, and one of the things I love about the stamp set is it's got innies and outies. So we're going to put happy birthday to you on the outside of our card and wishing you your best year yet on the inside of our card. So I kind of like that it will do both, this particular stamp set. Okay, so I'm going to grab, this is a, let's see, 4 by 5¼ inch piece, and I'll take that little strip we made up. This was just kind of left over when I was trimming my DSP to begin with. So I love putting those on the inside of my card because it just kind of ties everything together like so. And then let's stamp our 2 sentiments. We're going to use Night of Navy ink. So I'll stamp up here the happy birthday to you. Oh, so pretty. I just love the mixed font on this as well. And then on the inside, we'll be wishing you your best year yet. Okay, now I'm going to close this ink pad up before anything else happens. I'll take this panel and adhere it to the inside of my card, which is going to be a Night of Navy card base, which I suppose I should fold up. That will make the adhering it to the inside a little easier. Grab my bone folder. Okay, so I'm going to position this to the inside of my card. And then I'm going to tie a little ribbon around here. So I grabbed some of this navy ribbon. This is from the Playful Patterns ribbon combo pack. It's a great pack of ribbon. And I'm just going to kind of get enough so I can tie a bow on here. There we go. That should be good. So this navy ribbon is very pretty and just kind of the perfect little touch to this card. All right, so I'm just going to tie this on in a bow. Woo. Sorry, my ribbon was twisted on the back. Okay, here we go. I am a professional bow tire. Okay. All right. We'll make those bows just a little smaller. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a design from this DSP and use it to create our card focal point. So first I'm going to pop this up onto my card real quick, and then all we need to do is the printed paper. So if I just flip the pattern I used on this over, I will find some lovely flowers that I can color. So here's the pattern we used, and then look at all these beautiful flowers. So there's several different designs. You have a single flower, a double flower, and even a triple flower. I'm going to take this double flower and I'll just kind of trim this out of my DSP real quick. That way I can use these other flowers in a little bit. And then I'm going to take just a couple of Stampin' Blends. I've got Pool Party, Granny Apple Green, and a light Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to color in my flower. So I'll take my dark Pool Party and just kind of color in some of those lines on here with the dark. So these are just the shading lines that are kind of in the printed paper. And then we'll blend all of that out with the light Pool Party. So you can see I'm not doing fancy coloring by any stretch, just coloring on some of those lines. And this paper is really easy to color. And of course, you could do a lot of different colors. I thought about doing a yellow flower, but I thought with the ombre blending being kind of the star of the show, I would keep the flower kind of simple. I didn't want it to be too loud, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're just going to blend these. And remember, whenever you blend, to go over, I like to do the dark first, but whenever you blend, make sure you go over the whichever color as well. So don't just color in the areas where it should be lighter. Cover over that darker part too to get the blending to happen. Now sometimes you don't see the effect until you kind of let it dry for a second, especially on this printed paper. I almost feel like they're magic markers because you get the blended effect doesn't really show through until it kind of settles down a little.
Hello.
Hi, sweetie. I'm shooting a video.
Oh, sorry.
That was my son. We just got back from his track meet. He did a good job. If you follow me on Facebook, you probably saw pictures. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to color the leaves. I'm going to take the dark granny apple green and just kind of go down the center vine. Did I say vine? I don't think that's what I meant. Oh my gosh, what's the word for that? Vein? Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. I'm pretty sure it starts with a V. But it's getting late and I'm tired. Oh. You're all going to watch this tomorrow morning and think, whoa, she needs some sleep. You would be right. Okay, there we go. And finally, a little yellow. So this is my Daffodil Delight for the center of these flowers. So pretty. Now we're going to do a little trim with our snips. This is a piece of cake because it's really not that fancy a design. By the way, the other thing I meant to mention as I was coloring is when you're coloring on any design, whether it's pre-printed or stamped, you want to be careful not to get too close to the edge of your design so that it doesn't bleed out the edge. Does that make sense? So I knew this is printed paper, so it's a little thinner than cardstock. So I knew I did not want to allow my marker to be coloring too close to the edge of the design so that it wouldn't bleed out. I think one habit many people get into is they want to go right up to that edge, and the ink will spread just a little bit, not a ton. And the more you practice, the more you really get a feel for it. And with a pre-printed design, that is not quite as worrisome. Okay, So here we go. We're all done. And then we're just going to pop this up onto our beautiful card here. And then you can send this to someone for a special birthday wish. Speaking of birthday wishes, if you've never checked out my Sending Sunshine and Rainbows group, we have a fabulous group of people in a place where you can send and receive cards, both for birthdays as well as for people who just might need a little sunshine and rainbows in their life. Maybe they're going through an illness, maybe they've had a rough patch in life. Whatever the reason, we would love to send cards to them. I'll put a link in the description of this video about my Sending Sunshine and Rainbows group, so you can check it out. But we also have birthdays, that a rack list, which stands for Random Act of Kindness, and you can sign up for that to both send and receive cards. It's a really great group. Hope you will come join us and share your passion for card making with others who will definitely appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for stamping with me today. Of course, I have all the links of the products that I used in the description of this video. I would really appreciate your business if you could give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome because it helps me with the people at YouTube. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.